10,000 $100 bills I can add well. 10,000 hours on my grind, Malcolm Gladwell.
Mindset Mondays. Black Lotus, the brand, the lifestyle. Y'all know what it is. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday. Mindset Monday. Yeah. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Got a special guest coming in today. What they do, royalty, what they do. Coming in for Mindset Monday. Y'all know what it is. Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. Trey Snatch. Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. Come on in, Queen. Come on in, Queen Brandy Hayes. Make sure you check out Queen Brandy Hayes. Hashtag networking with Brandy. You know what I mean? Got a great Mindset Monday for y'all today. Got a great topic. Great concept. Today's topic is credit. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we talk about the investments, and we talk about getting the mindset ready. But guess what? The financial literacy, y'all know what we're doing, creating royalty through financial literacy, and credit is a major part in that. Credit is a major part in that. A lot of people have been hitting me up about the dojo, and in order to get into the dojo, you need your finances in order and you need your credit in order. You're trying to get that crib, you're trying to get that investment, you need your credit in order. You need your credit in order. So understanding credit, knowing what you need to do, what you need to have, it's very much pivotal in order to get yourself situated in the credit game. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Any questions that y'all have regarding the credit, regarding anything from trade lines, authorized users, primaries, we're going to be getting into it. The 3 bureaus, the big brothers of the bureaus, things of that nature. We're not going to go so scuba class and talk about the Black's Law Dictionary, but we are going to talk about the credit. You know what I mean? And we got to put this into motion. Come on in, Queen. Come on in, Queen. I got somebody to... got a special guest for y'all today. Y'all know that I always try to bring y'all the value and the culture. You know what I mean? Straight up and down. Try to bring y'all the culture. So if y'all have any questions about credit right now, put them in the box. Make sure y'all tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to be dropping value. We're going to be dropping value. So now the interest, we're going to talk about the interest rates if you have bad credit. You know what I'm saying? If you have bad credit, them interest rates are going to be crazy. There she is right there, the queen. I like to introduce everyone to the credit alchemist in the building. The credit alchemist is in the building.
Hey, everybody.
You don't have to be shy, man. This is Mindset Monday, Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle. You on the live. Thank you so much for being a guest and gracing us with your presence in here this evening.
Most definitely. Thank you for inviting me.
Most definitely. So tell the people who you are.
Well, my name is Christina McCoy. I'm from South Florida, and I started a company about 1.5 years ago by the name of Credit Alchemy. I'm a realtor as well, and I specialize in aggressive credit repair.
Aggressive. I haven't heard that term before. So what's the difference between regular credit repair or restoration and aggressive? You see, I like how you said aggressive.
So the difference between regular credit restoration, it literally will extend a client for about 6 months to a year throughout the process. We're taking baby steps, doing multiple disputes with a small amount of accounts. My aggressive approach, my main focus is my clients that need to purchase homes. So literally they're coming to me in a crunch. They need to be able to close. They need to be able to close quickly. And they don't have time for it to take about 6 months to a year for them to start seeing changes. So we go in, we're very aggressive with our approach, making sure that our clients are able to get to the closing table quickly. You'll start seeing results with us within about 2 weeks.
Okay. And that is amazing, because a lot of credit companies, charge monthly payments, and I've heard different people 4 or 5 months and it's really no results. So you're seeing results in 2 weeks. So the average client needs a close in, let's say, 45 to 60 days. You can more or less make it happen for them.
We could definitely attempt to, yes. So, of course, there's certain situations it could take up to 60 days if they have like a bankruptcy or a public record judgment. And especially with Equifax, it makes things a little bit harder, but it definitely won't extend past that 60-day or 90-day point.
So you can get them on point and get them in that house to the closing table in 60 days.
Correct. We have done
Regardless
it,
of their situation.
regardless of their situation.
Okay, okay. So how did you get started into credit, and what made you, take this path opposed to all the other industries that you could have been a part of?
Well, before credit repair, I was a hairstylist and a salon owner. I didn't pay much attention to credit being an entrepreneur. My parents are from the island, so everything with them is cash. We do cash money this, cash, 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 cash. And so you're paying for everything in cash and you're not building your credit. So when it came time to me purchasing a car, it was extremely difficult because I didn't not only have any credit, but I had also credit blemishes like medical bills. I was a hypochondriac in college. So yeah, fam, anything that went wrong with me, I'm in the emergency room. So I had a plethora of medical bills. And so that really hindered me. It wasn't until my daughter, we found out my husband and I were pregnant, and I had to go on bed rest. And this was in 2015. And basically, when the cat's away, the mice will play or tear up your shit. And that's exactly what took place. And I, in an emotional rant, closed my shop. That wasn't the smartest thing to do, but of course, not being able to be there, not being able to work, it just made things very difficult. And so I decided to close the shop. But before that, I had invested a great deal of money into my shop, liquid capital, and did renovations, purchased product. And so that depleted a lot of reserves that we had.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what next? And so at this point, I had a mentor, Kings and Queens Tax, Kathy, amazing woman, basically taught me before I left my building the credit game.
Okay.
And I started to understand, okay, credit as leverage. Credit is not just, okay, you just owing somebody. This is leverage, and you're taking that to basically put yourself in a different position. Being an econ major, we're always taught that the only way to wealth is through debt. Somebody has to go into debt, whether it be you or somebody going in debt to increase you. And so knowing that and understanding that, and then of course putting credit into a different perspective, my best friend and I, we started working on our credit and coming up and going to so many different seminars and coming up with different formulas to basically fix our credit situation. We were spending at one point thousands of dollars, especially my friend, to get their credit repaired, and no results were happening. And so finally we went through the process, we figured out what worked for us, and then we were able to like literally wipe our credit clear. Zero credit, nothing. And at this point, we learned about trade lines, and we added trade lines onto our account. And literally our zero credit scores turned into 786 credit scores. And then we started our applying process, and literally not one car that we applied for or car we were denied. We realized we were onto something. And there's so many people, especially in our demographic, that don't have this knowledge, that don't have this access. And we wanted to create a platform to help those individuals get on the fast track to financial wellness.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I deal with, pennies to dollars investments and strategies, and a lot of times what we find is, of course, we don't have the startup capital, we don't have the working capital, and now, with Instagram, and there's a network of individuals doing different investments. It always costs money to make money. So people talk about this whole leverage, this whole investment, passive income, things of that nature, but it's startup costs, and oftentimes operational or reserve costs, maintenance costs involved with these different investments, and all investments have risk as well too. So we don't have, a lot of times we're boxed out of this startup capital and this operating capital, so we're boxed out of it. So I bring a couple of solutions to the table as far as dividend yields and things of that nature, but when it comes to this credit, this is the key to getting us to the next level. This is the key to being able to access these opportunities. I deal with Dooley Dojo, where it talks about creating a car hauling business as passive as possible. But guess what? There's startup costs involved with that. A lot, a substantial amount of startup costs, especially if you're dealing with an individual that's just working a 9 to 5. So
Right.
they would be boxed out of these options if it wasn't for credit.
Oh, no. Like, I have a bunch of clients that are truckers trying to get into the business, the hauling business with dump trucks and everything, helping them be able to purchase. Like, I have one guy, like, he literally could not, he has his CDL license, everything, couldn't get a truck, period, because his credit was in the way. Once we were able to get in and wipe his credit, he was paying Lexington Law, I think, like, for the last 2 years.
Wow.
And nothing took place.
Wow.
I got in on his credit 2 months. 2 months, and this man was able to, he sent me a picture, he was able to go and get his truck to increase his income.
Wow.
His own truck, his own company, and more to come. So he was able to get his first truck, and he's on his way to his second.
How does it feel being able to impact individuals' lives and play a role in shaping their financial future? How does that feel for you?
It's thoroughly rewarding. I know what it's like personally to be stuck and not know where to go left, what to do, and how to pull yourself out of financial rut. So this is more than compensation for me. I feel like this is something that we need. We as Black men, Black women, we need this. We need more soldiers. We need more people raising up and edifying us on how to take ourselves to the next level. So for me, it's a mission. This is not even just about it's a God-given mission for me. Like,
Okay.
I take it very personal.
So now, what is some basic information that individuals need to know and where to get started just to start gaining a grasp of this financial literacy when it comes to this credit?
Well, a lot of us didn't have this foundation at home. So, when you say grasp or what is it that they need? I mean, what do you mean?
Like, okay, so they're scared to look at their credit report. They just been working. They don't have a lot of money. They have a dream. They have a business that they want to get involved in. They don't, they're not familiar. They, see a couple people talk about it on Instagram, but they don't really know where to start. And plus, they're scared to even look at their credit score. Because I've had some different clients, come to me like, man, I haven't looked at my score in 5 years because I'm just scared to even mess with that. I don't even know what's going on right now.
A lot of us try to block stuff out and thinking that not paying attention to it or not addressing it will make it go away.
If I close my eyes, you won't see me.
Right. And even though I don't physically see you, that doesn't mean that you're not there.
Facts.
So we need to take the fear out of addressing the elephant in the room. And we need to be more aggressive in what we need to accomplish and what we need to pass down to our kids and our children's children and so on and so forth. So really taking the fear out of addressing what needs to be addressed, that's step one. Get rid of that fear and take it by the horns and move, because your future counts on it. Your children's future counts on it. See, we didn't have a foundation. Our parents weren't adding us to their credit cards, as authorized users to build up our credit from the time, we were in high school, right? We didn't have, we didn't have that. Our counterparts did. I went to school with kids that had like 800 credit scores, and they're in high school, ready built. So we need to address this issue. We need to really focus on what needs to be done and take the fear out of it. So that's the first step, taking the fear. You can't be afraid of your credit. Your credit is here to help you. Cash is king, but not in this generation. At 800 credit score has way more purchasing power than 100,000. That's actually on my business cards and on my flyers.
Someone says if you don't know what's broken, you don't know what to fix. So we'll stay broke. Absolutely.
And that's that closing the eyes and not paying attention to it. So we need to address that. We need to also know that credit is important. People, again, my parents were taught cash, 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 and that ruined me.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you another question. I'm going to ask you a question from another perspective, right? So I just asked the question of someone who doesn't know anything. They're scared to look, so they face the fear, right? Okay, cool. So they'll get a credit karma or something like that, identity IQ, let's just say. But now let's go to the other perspective, another extreme where someone is familiar with the credit, but let's say they have all maxed out cards. So their score isn't good because they have maxed out cards. So do you suggest that they get rid of those cards and start from scratch, or should they create some type of snowball avalanche payment plan? Queen Tina, what's going on? Everybody chiming in. Queen Kim, everybody. Brian Hippolyte, man, thank y'all for coming in, man. We talking credit with the credit alchemist. The lights cut off. I'm gonna bring y'all some information, some good information. And if y'all have any credit questions, make sure y'all type them in, any comments. So somebody who's, let's say, cards is maxed out, high utilization, things of that nature, do you suggest that they go ahead and pay off the cards or create some type of system for that, or should they try to get rid of the cards and start all over again? And how does that work? I gave you another extreme. I went from the not knowing anything to almost knowing too much, or situation. So what would you suggest for an individual in that position?
So, and a lot of people will probably have different thoughts on my method. So when I'm analyzing a credit report and I see a scenario like that, and I come across a lot of those scenarios, I will advise them. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you. I would definitely advise them to analyze what cards are worth keeping. So let's say they have a Credit One card, right? And let's say they have an Indigo card. So these are the subprime credit cards, right? And it has like a $300 limit,
okay,
right? And they overmax that. They have a balance of 500 on that card, plus late payments, like recent late payments at that. I would tell them, nix that card completely. That card is a waste of time, for one, because it's a very low credit limit. Also, because there's too many late payments associated with that card, it makes no sense for you to even try to salvage that relationship. And
what about a high limit card?
So like a high limit card, I would definitely, like, say if it's like a Capital One Saver card or Amex, I would definitely advise them to, if they have late payments again, to try and work out with that bank to take those late payments off first and foremost, and work on paying down that card. You never want to mess up with American Express for two reasons. One, that is a card that gives you so much freedom. And then two, they'll take you to court. They will take you to court and hang you.
I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You got
disputed off your credit report, like they are coming for blood. So you work out favorable terms to pay down that card, especially. So like you start with your highest card first and your most valuable card. Start making those payments down and get that card down to 25% utilization. So it's no longer impacting your credit. Then you work on to like the lesser cards, like I said, like the little capital ones and the smaller. If there's late payments associated with it, wipe those cards off. Once we're able to dissect that and get those cards off, and then we focus our attention on paying down those high limit cards, you want to add a very high limit trade line to that account. Whether it could be a newly aged one, it could be a thoroughly aged one, but it needs to have a high credit limit, 30, 40,000, depending on where. Oh, it all
Been there, done that.
Right. So it all depends on where that card, where you are in debt, and then you balance out yet that overall utilization. That overall utilization on a credit report needs to come down under 30%. Then you go to a credit card, or a lending company like Lending Club, and ask for a loan to consolidate your debt. Once your overall score jumps up into the 700s or even the high 600s, after you add the authorized user trade line, see you later. Have a good day. Night. But once you're able to get that that overall utilization that you see with all your cards down, then you start applying for those loans to consolidate that debt and pay down those balances. And then the loans, if your score is in the high 600s or low 700s, you'll get a pretty favorable interest rate. So now you're not bogged down with separate different interest rates. You're only dealing with one at this point, or maybe two.
Okay, yeah, definitely consolidation loan from Lenders Club to go ahead and consolidate those credit
Lending
cards down.
Club is easy, especially if you're in the 700s. They are easy, and they're paying attention to that overall debt.
Okay.
Once it's under 30%, you're good to go.
Okay. That sounds good. Now, can someone still purchase a home with high utilization, or no? You suggest to get it down before they try to get a home, even if they're in the 600s, let's just say?
It all depends on their income. So your debt to income ratio is a huge factor. So let's say, for instance, the amount of debt that you have, and it's not the overall debt, it's your monthly payments. So let's say, for instance, your monthly payments exceed about 42% of your income. You're going to run into a problem. So you want to make sure that you get those balances down, or get those payments down. So it's not about the balances. Sorry. Somebody was calling. So I would always say, depending on your income, if you have high income, then your debt is not that much of a factor. But if you're like borderline, and the home that you're trying to go for is going to push you a little bit over the edge with your debt, then work on eliminating some of that debt and removing that debt off of your credit before you start applying for the home.
How key is patience in this whole process?
Credit repair is not overnight. It's not overnight. Are you talking about the credit repair process or the home buying process?
Both.
Okay, patience is key. You would run yourself into the wall thinking that you can solve this, you can get it done overnight. It's not. There's so many different things that come up during that process. Of course, we're talking about when you go to underwriting. So say, for instance, a client has an issue with their student loans, and we do credit repair, and we erase everything that's on the front end of their student loan, and they go on to the back end, during their underwriting process, and the underwriter finds some things that on your public record that you didn't know was there. You just have to work through the process. There's so many different things that can come up that will throw you back in the beginning of the line in the process, but you have to have patience. If you don't, you will drive yourself mad. It's so many different things that can pop up during that process, but definitely just know, work through it, pay attention to those that are advising you, like your loan originator. Listen to what listen to what the underwriters are telling you and do exactly what they say. Listen to your credit repair specialist. Don't apply for anything during the process of you applying for a home, because they will see it. You can apply for it and it won't hit your credit, but they have certain systems in place that they'll see what credit you applied for, and they'll throw your account out of underwriting.
And that could be, I know that's a frustrating process.
That's very frustrating, because you're talking to people that are so excited about purchasing a home, and all they can see is, okay, I need furniture, I need this, I need that. And they don't understand that let the home buying process happen first. Once you get that key in your hand and you are fully closed, then you move on to the next step in acquiring more debt as it is.
Okay. All right. So now we spoke about the beginner. We spoke about the person who messed it up. We spoke about the home buyer. What about the individuals who want to invest? They want to use their credit to invest in, a property or a business. How do you speak to them? Like, what would you say to them?
The first thing I tell them, start a business. Get incorporated and start building your business credit so that you can separate your personal credit from whatever investments that you're trying to make. That is key. Your business credit holds a lot more and can do way more once built properly than what your personal credit will allow you to do. Business credit is designed where you can take out millions and millions and millions of dollars at any given time, depending on the industry that you're in, versus your credit will only allow you to go so far. Not only that, you don't want business ventures to impact your personal credit, because that will, of course, ruin your debt to income ratio. Those balances that are on those credit cards and those loans will drag your score completely down. The largest part of our credit is our utilization. And then, of course, the history that's added to it. And so once that utilization goes up, I don't care if you were coming from 800 credit score, you max out any one card and goes over 30%, your score is plummeting 100 points. Anywhere between 75 to 100 points, you'll see it. So, build your business credit, even if you be patient in that as well, because it definitely does take a process. Build your business credit. Build your business credit. I would say utilize checking lines of credit. Those are easier to obtain, believe it or not, than credit cards.
So what if it's a brand new business? Can they still obtain it even if they're using their they say that you need a 680 to get approved for a personal guarantor with the business. I know a little something, just a little poquito, right? So sometimes so what if it's a brand new business, they have a 680 to personal guarantor, are they still able to get access to them checking lines of credit, or do they have to have at least a year tax returns?
So you'd have to use yourself as a personal guarantor in that respect. So definitely there's certain things that you won't be able to avoid, especially if you're new. You're going to have to put your name on something if you need it right then and there.
Okay. But so you'll be able to actually get those checking lines of credit with yourself as a personal guarantor without having a year in business.
They may not be high checking lines of credit, and it's based on, of course, your activity with your bank, but you're establishing a relationship, and do it with credit unions.
Okay.
Credit unions are in the business of extending credit because that's how they make their money.
Okay. That works. And you can go to multiple credit unions, so you can, a bunch of small ones will equal a large one, correct?
Yes. So my parents, or my mom, she, like I said, she's from Jamaica. She always says a lickle make a muckle. So, so whatever it is that you put together, it definitely, makes a greater, a greater deal. So definitely like the Navy Federals, the Penn Feds, um,
Pamphlets, they put you through so much. Oh my gosh.
now they do. Penn Fed was
It was
amazing.
it. I miss the sweet days. Put it like that, cause listen,
Let's not get into.
I ain't catch the sweet days. You feel me? I caught the
Listen,
damn, like Penn Fed is like goddamn TSA. And
listen, Penn
now,
Fed, and then they use Equifax at that. But Penn Fed was, I mean, I remember when I first applied to Penn Fed, out the gate,
mm,
they gave me a $19,000 card.
on the business side.
No, on a personal.
Oh, okay,
They
okay,
don't do anything business related. Everything is personal. So
okay.
that would be a personal checking line of credit.
Do credit unions establish lines of credit, checking lines of credit to businesses as well, or not so
Navy,
much?
Navy Federal. Navy Federal does. Depending on where you are, like I know
Mm,
down here in South Florida, I believe Bright Star is pretty good. Uh, um, and I'm only going off of, I believe Seacoast is pretty good down here in
mm,
South Florida. But
mm,
it's good to contact your credit unions that are around you and check with them
mm,
first when you are sourcing monies. And just make sure that you have all your documentation in place. You probably won't be able to get a loan, but the
mm.
checking lines of credit are a little bit easier to get.
Okay, okay. Um, wow. Thank you for all of this information that you bring in and all this resources. Make sure y'all follow the Credit Alchemist. She's a wealth of knowledge, resource, and you also assist with business credit as well too, like establishing the business and setting them up for setting individuals up for business credit as well too, correct?
Correct. So what we do is I am a serial entrepreneur. So that's actually like my my love. So I love helping small businesses take themselves to the next level. Because I didn't have anybody to help me do it, and I had to figure it all out. Hey, Betty, you see one of my credit alchemists are
Got a
in
call.
here. Huh?
I said, sorry about that. I got a call. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, okay. But so I definitely will help businesses from start to finish, even the beginning stages of helping them come up with a name. So if you come to me and you say, hey, Chris, I want to start a business. I don't know what the first thing that I need to do. I will walk you through that process. I also have extensive knowledge with sourcing products from overseas and manufacturers. So let's say somebody comes to me and they want to start a hair company, or somebody wants to start a towel company, or somebody wants to sell slippers, or whatever it is the case may be. I will help them source the product, find an excellent supplier, and get them started with their private labeling. In addition to helping them build their credit, their business credit from start to finish, which is about a 3 to 6 month process. And
Okay.
we will pretty much hand do everything, walk you through the entire process, where you don't really have to worry about it. You will just wake up one day and like, oh shoot, like I have acquired all this business credit.
Oh wow. Oh
Hmm.
wow. Okay. So you actually get the checking lines of credit for them as well?
Correct. So I'll help them establish their net 30 accounts. I'll help them establish their upper tier accounts in the sequence that's needed for them to go into the next level, and then move them closer to the 6 month where they'll start being able to get funding.
Okay. Okay.
We also have an accountant that we can pair you with, that will help you establish your company the way that it needs to be.
Hmm.
So that you're able to maximize. A lot of people try to take losses so quickly in the beginning. That's like the worst thing that you can do when you're trying to establish a business and receive funding.
Okay. Okay. I want to shout out to King Work Strive Grind just came in here, man, flipping homes and exotic cars. He's also down in South Florida as well. And he's doing
Hey,
amazing things on the real estate side, flipping homes and exotic cars and Airbnb. He's
yes.
doing some major things in the real estate space in South Florida, as well as he has his Hustlers workshop that's coming up. I want to say this weekend or next weekend. Put that in there as well for the people as well too. So that's a king that's doing
I want
magnificent
to go to
things.
that.
I think you should go to it. I
Okay.
went to it and it's a wealth of knowledge and information, and he brings so much value and resources. Yeah, he has his Hustlers workshop once a month. It's
Okay.
down at the SLS Brickell. You know, he fancy with it.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, he fancy with it. You know what I mean? He gonna pull up in the Maybach on you. You know what I mean?
yes.
And drop the jewels, man. Great king doing some major things down there.
I love this. I definitely love seeing us just moving forward and just making things happen. We just we we have it. Like I mean, it's in us to. We are just such a great people. Like we get into something and we get it done and we kill it. And we just need to continue to edify, continue to build the confidence in our brothers and sisters to get them to that next level. And that's all it is. It's just confidence, giving them the education and helping them be confident in it so that they can get it done.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I want to do a side note. Speaking of exotic things and exotic cars, we were talking, and you got to tell the people that you own a horse. Tell them about that, because this queen owns a horse, y'all. A horse, HORSE, Mr. Ed type shit. You know what I'm saying? So that is so unique, and I find that so amazing. So can you just touch on that, because this is you like Haley's Comet. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about? You
my
a
God.
unicorn. You a unicorn with it. I mean, listen, I know a lot of niggas who own a lot of stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Like my guy, he got a Ferrari, he got a Maybach, the Airbnbs, but he ain't got no horse. You know what I'm talking about? You on your J Prince shit, Queen.
So, I tell you, um, my father owned racehorses in Jamaica.
1 second. Shout out to the King and Queen Charm City buyers from Baltimore area. They're doing major things. Make sure you follow them. They actually renovate whole blocks in Baltimore. They do
Mm.
big things. Yes, they do big things. We on here talking with the Queen, the credit alchemist, about credit, but we just had to do a side note real quick because she owns a horse, y'all. Y'all own blocks in Baltimore, but she actually owns a horse too. So she's talking about how she got into owning a horse and everything like that. I got some unicorns, right? I got some unicorns, y'all.
Oh my gosh. So, like I said, it just goes back to my father. I grew up, I was around them. He owned 7 racehorses, like
Wow.
legit, like raced them. One of them was the name Christina G. He had another one named Full Pocket, Whistling Army, Faithful Bee. Like these are his prized possessions, thoroughbreds, and they ran races, and he won. That was a side thing. My dad, he comes from that era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm. I got
yeah.
you.
So it's in me, the hustler is in me. But he my dad, he was into it. My grandfather trained racehorses. He would fly from Jamaica and come up, and he's in the Kentucky Derby, training the racehorses, getting them ready for the races, and so forth. So it was one of those things that's it's like in my blood. I didn't get to really deal with it in my later years growing up,
Mm-hmm.
but I always had it in my heart that I'm going to ensure that my daughter gets into it. And it was just one of those things that was just in my spirit to push her with it. And so before my daughter was born, I made a vision board for her. And one of the things that I put on there was that she would master equestrian sports. Um, it's like God put in me something to just speak it out. And even though I couldn't understand it or see it, and her being so young, but to call it forth because it's something that she is going to do and she's going to excel in. And so he put that seed, and I put it on her vision board before she was born. And I put it on my vision board that by 2019, I would own my first horse. And so it was just in me that I need to find somewhere that will train a 3-year-old on equestrian sports, because the first time she got on the horse, she was 2 years old, and it's like she just knew exactly what to do. It was confirmation in my spirit at that point that, okay, I wasn't going crazy when God dropped it in my spirit that this is what I need to do with her. My daughter is 3 years old. She trots on a horse with no pressure. She knows how to control a horse at 3. And so I was able to find a stable in Delray that would actually take her that young. It's a whitewashed industry. It's like tennis. It's like golf. And it's something that we need to bridge a gap because we excel in everything. It's something that will afford her scholarships and to make an impact and show that, little brown girls are able to do these things and excel in it. And my kid, she's 3 years old. She knows how to handle a horse better than I do.
Wow.
Like her instructor, the first day that she got on that horse, my daughter was able to make the horse stop and go. She said she has the coordination of an adult with that. She said she's had students that she's been teaching for months that don't get it. And my daughter's first time really given the opportunity to control a horse, she took control. I post videos on it. Like, her Instagram is I am Zion Elizabeth. You will see her, riding her horse and doing her thing, cleaning the horse, cleaning out his hooves, and just doing, like, she's 3. She's 4 now, but 3.
Wow.
And you would think that she's been around them for so long. So at this point, I talked to the trainer, what are the options of purchasing a horse? And I thought it was something that's really expensive. It just depends on the type of horse that you acquire. If you're looking at a Hanoverian or like an Arabian horse, you're looking at thousands of dollars. But really and truly, you can go to it's called Florida Track in Loxahatchee, Florida, and you could purchase a horse, a thoroughbred, a beautiful horse for $1,000. And yes, for $1,000, you can get a well-trained horse that needs a little bit of rehabilitation because he was racing at one point, and he's looking for a forever home.
What they do, Kaizen Investor, if you still on, make sure you follow her. I plug everybody who comes in and supports, you know what I mean? Shout out to Kaizen Investor. Make sure you check out Soul Food Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. She does her Soul Food Sundays. Now, back to the horse. So, $1,000 you could purchase a horse, which is amazing. I did not know that. Now I understand that that's for your daughter and the experience of that. So that's an investment in itself for the experience, the knowledge, and what she can do with that. Now, for those of individuals who, I don't know if she got another call. What happened? Because I'm interested in knowing, can that be used as an investment? So when she comes back, I hope that she comes back. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, I'm interested in knowing about that. Wow, and this all started from aspects, and then we went into, she left me, she'll come back. Okay, Charlie, here we go, right? A horse, copper a horse, right? $1,000 horse, let her ride into the sunset, like the Django. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Charlie the Django. You know what I mean? I'm interested in knowing this. We are doing some amazing things out here in this world, people. I just want to say that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, from credit to horses to trucks. Oh, man, we are doing some amazing things. Queen Elise, what they do. We are doing some amazing things. The queen that I just had on, she does credit. She was breaking down personal credit, business credit, different aspects of that and that. Okay, you back? Come on back in. Let me let you back in. She sent the request. Wow, man. Got a unicorn on the line, man. Straight up and down.
I'm sorry. My phone wasn't trying to allow me to be great.
It's all good. It's either the phone or Instagram. You know what I'm saying? When you dropping these jewels and expanding people's minds, they like, nah,
They're
nah,
like,
nah. Y'all got
nah,
to,
let's go ahead and cut it up. But
yeah,
I
lower
couldn't
those
blame this one on
vibrations.
I couldn't blame this one on Instagram. Actually, my phone died, so I had to get the
Oh,
other phone.
no pressure, no pressure. Now, the question that I had for you
Hmm.
was that I understand this is experience. Somebody just said that I need the Susie fit what they do, Queen. Somebody said that I need to get one for my daughter. That's amazing. I'm in North Florida. We'll talk about that in a second. But the question
You
I
got
have
the
for you
land
is,
up there for it, and it's also a tax incentive. If you purchase
mm,
property and you put livestock on it, like you get a huge tax cut. FYI.
wow,
Like
did
all you
not
need is
know
like a
that.
goat, maybe a pig, a horse, any type of four-legged animal on that property that's in a rural area that will
Mm,
allow it, of course, will
yeah,
give
that
you a
got to be
huge,
zoned for
yeah,
that.
will give you a huge tax cut. Like you can't live in Coral Springs and put it in your backyard. You won't get
It ain't gonna work in a
it.
residential zone. Like, no,
No.
no, the roosters and them not gonna be waking up the people and stuff like that.
Right.
The question I have for you was that, can that horse be utilized as an investment? I understand the purpose of you getting that horse for the purposes of
That was
your
just one of
daughter,
the
and that,
purposes.
talk to me, talk to me,
Okay.
talk to us.
All right. So again, remember talking to you about bridging that gap.
Hmm.
So eventually, as my daughter is learning and she's going on her journey, and she'll start doing her equitation, which is the jumping. Like I'll even on my hair page, I'll post a lot of desires that I want and see, but it involves equitation, which is like the jumping sports, the hunting. I don't know if you guys ever really paid attention to it, but it's really cool to watch. Um, you know, going up to Wellington and watching these people perform on these animals and just going straight to the limit. Like it's awesome.
Mm,
But so being able to develop programs that will help underprivileged kids filter and filter them into that industry where they're able to do the therapies on the horses. Like since my daughter has been doing her horseback training, like her discipline is a little different now because you have to be very disciplined. You have to become more intuitive to become, almost like becoming one with that animal to make sure that that animal is able to read you and you're able to read it because it's still an animal. It's a huge animal and it can be dangerous. You
mm.
can fall, but you just need to learn how to fall. Like the other day, like I fell, like the horse spooked and I was on the ground. But at the same time, I love the sport. I love being up there and, I'm learning to be more in tune with this animal. So with that being said, children that have like, autism, kids that have developmental issues have seen a great deal of improvement when they're dealing with these animals. They're doing their therapies. They're learning how to do the coordinations. They're learning how to like really think outside of the box and becoming one with this animal. And children, especially autistic kids, they excel and they become better, working with these animals. So
Mm.
that is you have the ability to start up a nonprofit organization. You can charge renting out your horse to programs that do therapy with these kids, developing your own program, and of course, bridging that gap. There'll be funding that's available for it. So as far as an investment, like that was like the second major reason why I got into it because I have a bigger vision.
Wow, wow. So, um, okay, okay. I feel you just blew my mind. My head is swirling right now, right?
One
With the,
horse, just like somebody that gets, that like flipping cars, flipping horses is a big business too.
mm,
Like if you ever come to some of these, like even like in Delray, these different stables, they literally they come down from Canada And like, this is a season where the horses with the carts, they do the cart racing, and you literally, these people, like, the turnover is ridiculous. Like, they bring in like these young horses, they train them up for a little bit, get them cleaned up, and then and they spend like $500 on these horses, and they turn around and sell them to these individuals that race them for like thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow.
So you put a little bit of money into that animal, that it knows how to stop, it knows how to go, it knows how to work with the cart, it knows how to work on the track, and then turn around and flip it. Like, it's an entire business, and it's a big business once you know what you're doing. And it's a business that we know nothing about, and never thought to get involved in.
Absolutely.
So some of these horses, literally, people will pay $1 million for a horse. There are sheiks out there in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that literally, Bahrain, that pay $1 million for a horse.
Okay, so now, from the aspect of purchasing a horse, and it's crazy how we're on talk about horse investments, but
I love it though.
Yeah, absolutely, because the credit can afford you to be in a position to go ahead and purchase a horse, especially at such a low entry point as $1,000, right? Mm-hmm. So now, because what I'm thinking, you know what I mean, from what you're saying, is that, you know, you could purchase a horse potentially with your due diligence and everything, purchase a horse and rent it out to 2-3 programs that deal with children, and in lesser terms,
and
make passive
parties and
income.
events.
Like the pony rides for the kids and stuff like that. So when it's not being rented out from the different programs and nonprofits, it's being used on its off time for
events, photo shoots. The upkeep for a horse is not cheap, but
that's what I was going to ask you. What's the maintenance like? What's the maintenance cost on average for the monthly between storing it? Because I know you don't have it in your backyard right now, so you know what I mean.
Not today.
So what's the like a truck will go on a lot? What's the lot rent? What's the lot rent for it? And I'm pretty, the food, it got to be fed, it got to be bathed, things of that nature. Alex, Good Energy, what they do. Hold on one second. I want to shout out everybody that's coming in here. J Rock, what they do. Black Rosa Kush, what they do out of Savannah. Alex, Good Energy, what they do. We got a unicorn on the line today, brother. We own trucks. She owns a horse, King. She owns a horse, and she's breaking down how you can invest in a horse for like $1,000 and then rent it out to autistic programs that help children and parties and stuff like that. This is literally like an EYL type of interview right now, King. You know what I'm talking about? So anyway, so we're talking about the maintenance fees. So like, what's the stable fees and, average and the feeding fees for this? So we got it. We bought the horse for $1,000. So what's on average, what's our maintenance fees?
And that's a rehabilitated horse. That is that is a, and that's from here on Florida track. So the stable fee to house the horse can be anywhere from $800 a month, on a basic stable, to as much as $3,000 a month, depending on what is being done with the horse. So, and then of course there's leasing options, where you'll lease the horse for a certain time of the week, whether it be a full-time lease where nobody else uses the horse, and that's another stream of income. If you have a horse, you can actually lease your horse out to other individuals that will use your horse for sporting, jumping events, training, and that nature. And that you can put like 10 people on that lease. You just have to make sure okay, you have your full-time or you have your part-time leasing people, and these are the times that they're able to utilize the horse in, the amount. So like a standard lease is like $800. Nobody else is going to touch that horse. You're renting that horse for $800 or maybe $1,000 depending on the type of horse it is. Then you have like a partial lease where you only use the horse 3 times a week, and that's like $400. But to house the horse, it's about $900. With that $900, that takes care of their shoes, the farrier, that's what they call them, a farrier. So they come, they reshoe the horse, because sometimes the horse's shoes will wear away. It's like they have like big toenails. One big toenail is that hoof. So if this horse is doing a lot of trail rides, if they're doing a lot of walking, if that horse has some type of lame issue, that hoof will wear away quickly, and that become painful for the horse. So like you see like those horseshoes back in the day in the Western movies, like those actually help that horse's foot not to wear down as quickly. So you have a farrier cost. You have like the horse that we have eats about 4 times a day, and that includes like his hay, his oats. Yeah, that's not bad. The the Credit Alchemist.
Her page is the Credit Alchemist. It's crazy because we came on talking about credit, and it went into that because she owns a horse, and I found that to be a unicorn. So we went from credit, personal, and business, and we somehow got onto the horse thing. But it's all relative because we know that credit is the entry point to get into these investment opportunities, whether it's trucks or semi trucks, dualies, or horses, right? So we just bringing more opportunity and more information to the people. You know what I'm saying? But her page is the Credit Alchemist.
And my daughter's page is I am Zion Elizabeth. Yeah, I am Zion Elizabeth, the little equestrian. But so again, so he eats 4 times a day. When it comes into bathing the horse, they take care of all that. So the turnout of the horse. So the horses are pretty much in stalls all day, but at some point the horse needs to go out and run around because they can actually like go berserk. It's a wild animal, so they can't be penned up all day. So they have like their turnout times, and these animals are on a very strict schedule. Of course, the veterinary fees are separate. Those aren't included because at any given time anything could go wrong. But as far as like their vitamins and supplements that they need, to keep them strong and to keep them healthy, to keep their weight up, those are included. If it's an additional fee, they'll work it out depending on the horse's needs. So if it's like a sickly horse, she'll probably charge a little bit extra to get the horse to where it needs to be. And then of course, once the horse is the weight is up, then they need to just reduce the feed or reduce whatever medication they're administrating to the horse, and they'll take that off. But about $900, $900 standard to house the horse. But then of course,
the food included in that $900? Okay.
The food is included, the care is included. You can leave the horse there and not ever go visit the horse. As long as you're paying that $900, they're taking care of the horse's every need. Somebody's riding the horse to keep the horse, acclimated with people. Transportation with your dually. Yep, that's true.
That's what I'm talking about, Susie Fit. That's what I'm talking about. Another way for Dually Dojo in the building.
Listen, horse transportation is no joke. That is a whole check. That is a big check.
Dually Dojo in the building.
Okay. But $900 really to maintain the horse per month. That's the horse's rent. And then we pay $800. And then the horse, actually, she's training the horse so that she can because she does a lot of training with kids. And so, or, even adults. And this horse, he's 12. So he's a great horse, and he works well with people. So basically she cut down the rent because I'm partially renting that horse out.
Okay. So we at 1,000, we're just going to say $2,000 down, because we'll get, to $2,000 to purchase the horse. So we're looking at $900 a month. The veterinarian fees is $200 a month.
The farrier fees are $65, $75 a month.
That's for the vet.
That's for his shoes.
Oh, his shoes, 65.
Mm-hmm.
So we at 965. The
So
vet fees.
But if the horse needs a veterinarian because the horse is sickly, of course that price goes up and down depending. And vets are no joke. Like, because it's a specialized yeah. So basically, taking care. I mean, the vet fees are separate. That's not incorporated. But let's just say the horse gets sick, or the horse is having like a stomach issue. To call the vet out is probably about at least $200 for him to come out there and take a look. We're not even taking into consideration the medication that's needed. So it's a good thing when you're looking for somebody who is going to house your horse, if you don't have the land to house the horse, that this person has some veterinary skills. So thank God the stable where the horse is housed, she has extensive medical background. So if the horse gets cut, she can suture it. She can stitch the horse up, because things happen when you turn them loose. They could, hit up against the fence, or, tear something, or whatever the case may be. She's able to stitch it up. You won't have to call the vet to come and do that, because that's already like a $200-$300 bill right there. Okay. And then of course his time. So, whenever you're looking for somebody to house your animal, or to house your horse, look for somebody that has some veterinary skill.
Okay. So now when we're renting it out to these different programs, what's the average return, or what's the average fee on that? Because I'm assuming that they'll do something, let's say twice a week, we'll say, with the children, and if you get 2 of them, you got it 4 days out of the week. So like how does that work? Like I'm just trying to think of like some numbers, in a sense, like the ROI in the context.
So on a rehabilitation, you can actually get paid through insurance. Once let's say for instance, you get certified in being able to train kids that have developmental issues, you can actually get a certification for that. And depending on the type of insurance that they have, it's covered through insurance. That is a form of therapy. So that could be just depending on the insurance company. You could bill them anywhere from, let's say you put them on a monthly schedule, anywhere between like a $500 to $2,000, depending on the extent of work that you have to do with that child, how often they come. So just separate and apart from rehabilitation, yeah, Medicaid and Medicare reimburse. I've heard that's something similar. So basically, prime example for my daughter, before we transitioned into the leasing and ownership part of it, just for her to train on the horse, to go once a week, it was $400. Right? And that's with her being on the horse for about an hour and a half once a week.
And that's one person.
That's one person. And sometimes she makes money hand over fist. 1, because she's an excellent trainer, and 2, she has excellent horses. So like literally she has maybe like 30 students.
Wow. And
they pay monthly up front. And then depending on how often they come, she'll work out package deals.
So you're looking at on average $400 per month per student could do that. So you get different programs. Let's say you get 2-3 programs with 10 kids all together. Now you're looking at $4,000 a month, and your overhead cost is about $1,200 a month. So you're netting about $3,000 a month from that initial.
But also, you remember, if you're not a trainer, you'd have to pay the person who's going to be training the kids.
Okay.
So you got to equate, what they charge for
Okay.
their specialty.
Okay.
So let's say, for instance, if they are just working for you, then, whatever their hourly fee it would be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because if you're not well versed in training, horse training and handling, I wouldn't suggest that you try to
Oh
unless.
no, no. This is strictly a question for the investors that say, okay, well, how can, because I have a lot of people want to set up passive streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
So from how I'm looking at it from that perspective in the context is like, okay, well,
400
you
per
have
week. I mean, per
four,
month. Sorry.
yeah, 400 per month. So you have the stable person who's going to take care of it and feed it, so they're being paid. Then you have the trainer who's actually going to be working with the actual children with the horse. So you purchase the horse and set everything up as far as the stable and the trainer, and then set up with the programs, and then it's self-sufficient for the most part. You take everything after you pay for your stable fees and your trainer fees, and the rest is yours.
Correct. And then you also get to ride your horse at leisure for
So
free.
basically, it's actually paying you to ride it
Right.
technically once it's
Basically.
set up. Beautiful, beautiful. You see, this is what happens on Mindset Mondays, people. This is why you need to be tuned in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. And y'all know that I'm saving this, and y'all know I screen record it and throw it on the YouTube channel, Trey Snatch. So if you missed it or you tell a friend and they didn't catch it, they can go catch it on the YouTube channel. This is Mindset Monday, people. You
Can
understand
you
what I'm
guys
saying?
see that horse in the background? That's where it all started.
The vision board.
My vision board, and right smack dab in the middle.
Manifested it, Queen. Manifested it.
Like it's crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. And it feels good because I'm not paying an exuberant amount of money anymore, allowing my daughter to learn and ride because now she has her own animal and it's being put to work.
Beautiful, beautiful. You like the female Mansa Musa. You understand what I'm saying? Like you just giving, you know what I'm saying? You just giving jewels, giving credit, giving
Listen,
funding,
I
horses, the experience. This is magnificent.
listen wherever, I'm all about edification. I don't hold back any information. Why? You like pouring into somebody and watching somebody flourish and become better after what you were able to instill in them, like that's enough for me at the end of the day. A lot of things, they say the game is to be sold and not told, but not at the, when you're withholding good information to help your culture, to help your community build themselves up at the end of the day.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a
So
fact. And
it comes
they
back in so many other ways.
and none of this information is proprietary, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. We just, our minds, you know what I mean, are programmed to stay in a particular zone. And that's why I like to bring Mindset Mondays, because it just opens up the realms of possibilities. Like, who would have thought? You know what I'm saying? Like, who would have
Hmm.
thought that you could get a horse for, what I'm saying, such a low cost? You know what I mean? Like, um
And then
I could.
just think about it. Like, let's say, for instance, we decide to go out into rural areas, purchase more land for less, build your house, and then you are able to add this business onto your property.
mm, mm, Create income and have more tax benefits.
Exactly.
You amazing. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Y'all see his pin there, the credit alchemist. Make sure y'all go follow her, man. She's a great resource, and she's doing some amazing things out here. My mind is blown. My mind is blown. Does anybody have any questions for the queen? We touched on credit, personal credit, a lot of different aspects and perspective situations. I hope I asked a question that may have suited your situation, whether it's you don't even look at your credit till you messed up your credit, till you're trying to get a house. So I touched on a lot of different aspects. Then we went into business credit, even some sources and how to set it up. She also offers that resource.
Mm-hmm.
And we also brought to light what you can do with a little bit of that funding, not even a lot. You know what I mean? Because if you purchasing a truck, semi truck, you're gonna need at least 15,000. You purchasing a dually, you're gonna need something, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna need 10, 15,000, just depending on how you're doing it, right? But with a horse, and you still paying $2,000 a month between your payments and insurance and things of that nature, operating costs, right? But something like this here, you get in at $1,000, you got another $1,000 a month, and you can bring in three, four, maybe $5,000 a month, and you net in $2,000-$3,000 a month with just an initial $1,000 investment. Low
Mm-hmm.
cost entry. That's why it's pennies to dollars, dollars to leverage, leverage your way to freedom, baby.
I
Y'all know it's a
love
brand of
it.
lifestyle. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm a creative consultant. You feel what I'm saying? Pennies to dollars strategist. You know what I'm talking about?
You are awesome.
Straight up and down. So we at 8, and Instagram, they usually give you an hour. They've been letting me slide a little longer, but I don't want them to cut it off. So please tell the people you're pitting. Tell the people you're pitting. Tell the people where else they can find you, some other pages, the resources, and the website. Tell them everything, how they can contact you, because you know what I'm saying, it should be the unicorn alchemist. That's what it really should be, but that's another story.
Oh my gosh. She is asking, we're in Delray, or the name, it's AM, and it's at Sunshine Meadows is the name of I'll put it in here. But you're looking for Melinda when you get there. The owner's name is Melinda.
Sound like somebody, because I think they're down in South Florida as well too. Sunshine Meadows, yes. So I think I might have to grab me a little Mr. Ed or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
There is and if she doesn't have space, there is another huge stable that's there. And when I tell you, she is the trail ride queen, meaning that your horse will be constantly at at work. So, that's something else to consider. That one is called, oh my gosh, they're in the same Sunshine Meadows. That one is called Golden Gate Stables. But Golden Gate, like the gate of a horse, it's spelled Gait, Golden Gate Stables. And I don't remember the owner's name, but she, I think she's really cheap as for actually cheap for this world. I think her housing fee is $700, but your horse is guaranteed to be working.
Oh, so she basically is $700 a month, but she's gonna guarantee that you're gonna bring some income in with
Correct.
that horse.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
That's still with the same $1,000 horse.
That's the same thing with a $1,000 horse.
We gonna talk about that offline.
There is it's Equine Now, EQUINE now.com, where you can actually look for horses all across the country, different breeds. I not specialize, but I deal mostly with thoroughbreds. Mm-hmm. They are more of a hot-blooded horse, and their temperament is great, but they are race horses, and they are very athletic. And they're on the smaller stature, but there's so many different types of horses that are out there. There's Mustangs, there's Morgans, there's Appaloosas, there's Hanoverians. It just depends on the price point that you're looking for, and what it is that you're trying to gain from that horse. The more expensive the horse, the more that you can actually charge for the services in your leases. If this horse has a specialization in jumping, of course, there's more, you could charge more because of the training that that horse comes with. The more training the horse is, the more valuable they are. So the more work that a trainer, what is a hot-blooded horse? A hot-blooded horse is a thoroughbred. Cold-blooded horses are like draft horses. So, like the Budweiser horses, the big, heavy, slow monster horses, those are cold-blooded horses. And then there's a crossbreed, which is a warm blood, which is a cross between a thoroughbred. So you get the swiftness, you get the temperament, and you get the athleticism, and then crossed with a cold blood so that it's a bigger and heftier horse. And so those are the horses that they use mostly for jumping because their legs aren't thin and they're pretty stocky animals, but they're able to jump, and not break their legs as they're jumping over, doing their jumping. So.
Okay.
It's a whole world.
Yeah. I see that. I definitely see that.
But when done properly, it's very lucrative, especially if you're stepping outside of owning the stable portion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mind is blown. So anything you want to leave the people with, any message, what you've given us so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, first of all. Thank you for gracing us with your presence on Mindset Monday. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Yeah. So fear is a huge stumbling block. Even for me, public speaking and in doing this type of thing is fear. But if I allowed that fear today to come on here and just sit it down and chop it up with you and talk to, this audience, they would be missing out on something, that could be very valuable to them. So fear is a huge crippler. Throw the fear out the door and just, if there's something that you're trying to do, if there's something that you want to start, throw the fear out the window and just get it done. This is the time in this season right now that whatever it is that you're going to touch is going to turn to gold. Just get it done. Have the mindset to just get it done and throw fear out the door. Fear will keep you captive. It will keep you in bondage. Let fear go.
Facts.
Weed.
Facts.
CBD is a new way to...
It make you say bump it, you know what I'm saying? Take a couple of puffs and be like, bump it, I'm jumping. You know what I mean?
So my experience with marijuana wasn't great when I was in Tallahassee. I ended up in the emergency room with blood pressure 150 over 100. Yeah, it was scary. Yeah, it was good. So I stayed away from it. I prayed to God to make the high go away. I didn't want it anymore. I hated it there.
Yeah. Hey, to each their own, you know what I'm saying?
It wasn't for me. But CBD is good. I like CBD and hemp.
Yeah.
That's a new wave right now, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
People are buying it by the pounds. And that's a whole different avenue and stream of income, CBD.
Definitely, yeah. So many different opportunities, so many different markets out here, you know what I mean? And we got the pick one, stick it, get it working, let it bring in, get your bread back, then either scale or then go to something else.
And sell it. Yep. Sell it and bank it and move on to the next.
Definitely. Yes, the Credit Alchemist, another episode, Mindset Monday. I got a plug. Y'all know what it is. Trace, Snatch, Black Lotus, the brand of lifestyle, pennies to dollars, dollars to leverage your way to freedom. Mindset Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every single Monday. Y'all know what we're doing, creating royalty through financial literacy. Y'all know if y'all stream the music or purchase the merchandise, y'all supporting me. If you book a consultation or purchase one of my books, Dollar Dojo, From Passive Active to Passive, or Dooley Dojo, you're interested in getting into the Dooley game with car hauling, y'all investing in yourself, okay? So we got the information for you. We got the credit for you. We got the information. We got the knowledge. Make sure you hit up the Credit Alchemist. She got the personal. She removing stuff, aggressive credit repair in 2 weeks. You feel me? 2 weeks to 60
You'll
days. She's
start
getting
seeing movement.
you'll see movement, get you in the house, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all follow credit_GPS. That's my credit page. And we bringing this knowledge to the people. We bringing knowledge, we bringing value, and I hope that y'all learned something, y'all got value, and y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all was here with us tonight, and I greatly appreciate y'all. I greatly, greatly appreciate y'all time and attention. Like I said, I will be saving this live, and it will be going on the YouTube channel as well. So make sure y'all go subscribe. Hit that thumbs up on Trey Snatch YouTube channel as well. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, Queen, for blessing us with all of this information and gracing us with your presence and your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all next week. Same place, same time, Mindset Monday.
Bye.